All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's Mr. Rops,
And Mr. Cole?
and we are here today to talk about the communication aspect of our patterning tasks. And now we've done the math for tables and chairs. We've done lots of things with math. And so the first thing we have to do is we have to write an introduction. When you write the introduction, you just basically recopy what the problem is. If you can do it shorter in your own words, go for it. If not, you could just basically take what the task is all about.
Yeah, don't spend too long on introduction. Just basically a simple statement of what the task is.
Yep. Then the next thing to do is you extend the pattern. So this is about tables and chairs. So I drew some tables and chairs and I looked at what the pattern was. Once you've extended the pattern, you define your variables. Ideally, you use variables that make sense. This is about tables and chairs, so let's use T and C. It just helps with the communication, makes it more clearly. But it's very clear that T is tables and C is chairs.
Yeah. Helps you remember which one's which.
Yeah. Then the next step is we need to make a table. And the key to making a table is you want it to be systematic and organized. You want it to go into a nice pattern on this side here. And when you do the table, look at your first differences or maybe second differences to make sure that it's clear what's going on.
Okay. So those are just our results that we counted, right?
Right. Then when we find our discussing our findings, we can talk about our differences of being 4, our first differences being 4. That's part of our findings.
Okay. So that's a bit like the 4 times table, yeah? The 4 times table also goes up in 4s, which is 4 times T. So we've got that in the second column here.
Right. So this is also part of discussing our findings. We're making the table, we're trying to get the formula. And then we actually have to find the general formula, which we make our 4T. We see this is the pattern. I know I have to add 2 to all of them to get our values for C. So here's our general formula. Here's another way I talked about my general formula. But I put a nice box. I hit the reader on the head that the formula is that. Nice and clear.
Yep.
Next is to verify. When we verify, again, I'm telling the reader I'm verifying. I have to verify by pattern.
Okay, so just count one that you haven't done so far.
Right. And I have to do it by formula. And the idea is those two values are the same. But I've made it clear that I've said by pattern and by formula.
Yep. And that they are the same.
And that they are the same.
So you're checking your formula works.
Right. If you got time, do it twice. Double check your formula. And one of the keys is you have to make sure that you check your formula with numbers that were not used and find the original pattern.
Okay.
But again, you can see those are equal. Verify. Next is justification. Tell the reader you're going to do a justification. Make it clear for them. And this time we're going to do it 2 different ways, which is told algebraically and then geometrically. When you do it algebraically, make it clear. By pattern, you do your computations, you talk about what you're doing, you use the table, you find your k plus 1th term, do a little writing about it, what you have to add.
So you're just following the pattern of adding 4 on to get the next one.
All right, and it's nice and clear.
Yep.
And then you also do it by formula. And so your formula at the end of k plus 1, the k plus 1th term, has to be the same as what it was for when you do it by pattern.
Okay, so we're swapping k for k plus 1 to get the next term.
Okay. Also do it just geometrically, and again, nice headings so that you know what's being done. Trying to use the diagrams to show that each time we are adding 4 with new tables. And it's discussed in here, not just with the pictures, but also in words.
Okay, we need both, but without the pictures, you really can't communicate this very well, I don't think.
I agree. And with the pictures, it's not enough. The words is not enough. You need them both to really.
I think so. Yep.
And so we're talking about the +2. The use of color, the appropriate use of color is really helpful. You can use color to help emphasize things or to point things out. And talking about adding the 2 chairs.
Okay, so we've talked about both parts, yeah? We've talked about why it goes up in 4s, and we've talked about why there's that extra add 2.
And then finally, a quick conclusion, which basically is a summary of what you found out about emphasis on what the general formula is. The conclusion is not about, oh, I learned and had fun. That's not what we want to hear. We want to hear about the math.
Okay, so there's not that much writing there, but everything that's been written has a clear purpose, and you need to make sure that you hit all of those key points.
Great. Good luck.
Enjoy.